Hello, welcome to Lemon Studios, where we talk movies, television, and wrestling. I'm, of course, Lemon himself, Zeke Lemon, and this is my review for Monday Night Raw. But before we get into that, let's get the house clean out of the way. Sure, to leave a like, comment below, let me know your thoughts on Monday Night Raw, and of course, hit that subscribe button as it helps me grow into my YouTube career. I would greatly appreciate it. Now, all that out of the way, let's get into it, shall we? So, yeah, this episode of Raw was very interesting, to say the least. There were some things that I really liked. There were some things I didn't really care for, and there were some things that I just really did not like whatsoever. And we'll start at the start, right? Becky Lynch and AJ Lee. And overall, this segment did not work for me. This is the portion of the show that I just did not like. There was a bunch of other things that I found questionable, for sure. I was like, why are we doing this? Well, this really just feel like it's there to fill up time. This one, it kind of came out of nowhere, right? Because Punk's going, they're doing the walk thing, they're doing that stupid thing where we have to show everyone arriving to the arena, and then he shows AJ Lee is there, and then in the background you see Becky Lynch, she's throwing a temper tantrum, and so she comes out to the ring to talk about it, right? Then here comes AJ Lee, and they have this back and forth, and look, I'm one of those people who doesn't need wrestling to be super serious all the time. I really don't. I don't mind comedy being burst in. I mean, honestly, my favorite match of the night was Javon Evans and El Grande Americano versus Rayo and Bravo, I believe is their names, or El Grande Americano 2 and 3 for that matter. My favorite match of the night, and that was pure silliness all the way through the whole entire match. I mean, you got I like how they talked about it on commentary too. It depends on which side of the border you're on. If you're on American soil, the original El Grande Americano is good, but if you're in Mexico, then the new El Grande Americano is the good one. I like how they played into that, the teasing the mask versus the mask. The spot with Javon Evans doing the cutter on Bravo, or was it Rayo? I think it was the blue one. I think that's Bravo. I'm not too sure yet, but you know, that cutter was a lot. Again, it was just pure fun. It was just pure silliness. Like, I enjoyed it. Do I still think mask versus mask should be at WrestleMania? No. But again, I still had a lot of fun during that segment. So I can enjoy goofiness, right? Here, with Becky, like, being paranoid and super, what are you gonna do this? Oh, no, you wanna do that? Oh, no, you wanna do this? It just wasn't working. It just overall wasn't working. I also don't really like that their first match is gonna be at Elimination Chamber. I feel like you've waited this long, that you might as well wait till Mania. And I think if you do round one, I get it's in Chicago. I don't think AJ Lee is from Chicago. They're saying it's her hometown. I'm not sure how true that is. I thought she was from New York. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But I found that weird. I was like, what, just because she married CM Punk, now Chicago is her hometown? That's not how it works, WWE. But anyway, you know, you are away this long. Round one to me, because that is a dream match, should be at Mania. Because now you do it in Chicago, you do it at the Elimination Chamber, which is gonna be loud, right? They're gonna really be behind AJ Lee because of who her husband is, and they're gonna be really booing AJ Lee because of who her husband is in a lot of ways. And, you know, there's gonna be really good face and heel dynamic for sure. But you do taint the WrestleMania match because we're gonna do it again. Like, that's the other thing. You know, Finn Balor and CM Punk we'll get to in a little bit, but we know they're gonna go again. So why even do round one to begin with? And if you're going to do it at the Elimination Chamber, why wasn't AJ Lee in the Royal Rumble and being the one to eliminate Becky Lynch? That's more justification for a match as opposed to, hey, 2 months ago, or was it 4 months ago now? Excuse me. 3 months ago, November, in War Games, I beat you, so therefore I get a title match. Or what about 6 months ago in September, right? September, October, November, December, January, February. 5 months ago, I was 1 month off. We had a mixed tag match, and I pinned you 1, 2, 3, so now I want my title match. I don't know. Like, if she comes back at the Rumble, she eliminates her, okay, we've been ducking and dodging each other these whole times. We faced each other in tag matches. Let's go one-on-one, and I can't wait for Mania. Let's do this at the Elimination Chamber. Maybe then I could have swallowed it a little bit more. But one with, you know, the sudden AJ appearance, and, you know, AJ has earned her right to come and go as she pleases. That's not my problem. It's just, again, it felt so sudden. And this dream match that I felt like we were going to get at WrestleMania, and that we are going to get at WrestleMania, because there's no way this is the only time they're going to fight. I just feel like you take away from the specialness a little bit if you go ahead and do round 1, because now what is there to do round 2 besides, oh, we're just going to do it again? I mean, it will have to add a stipulation. I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. But again, overall, the goofiness of the segment, and I mean that with earnesty, even though it didn't necessarily work for me, didn't really hit, and also just with the timing of when this program is beginning, I wasn't a huge fan of it either. Now, on the flip side, where people are saying, oh, it's a filler feud, Finn Balor versus CM Punk. One, sure, right? I'm not going to discredit that whatsoever. It could be a filler feud, but the segment was really good. I think Punk is doing a great job at really elevating both feuds, making them both feel equal and very important, right? Like after Finn Balor comes in, takes over, and here comes Adam Pearce, and here comes CM Punk, we get the match official, right? And Michael Cole asks, what are you doing? Why are you going to jeopardize your WrestleMania match? And he goes, jeopardize? And he's saying, I'm not trying to, jeopardize anything. I'm trying to elevate this title. I'm trying to make it mean something because, we have work to do when it comes to this title. So therefore, I am going to elevate. I am going to keep defending because that is what I am going to do. And then, he brought up Roman. He brought up Balor. I also like when Balor talked about his portion, how he brought up the turnbuckle that collapsed on Roman 5 years ago to show that he has unfinished business with Roman. I feel like 5 years is a little too late, Finn. Again, going back to the AJ Lee, I thought 5 months was too long. 5 years is definitely going to be too long as well. But hey, I love that you are bringing that up to show, hey, I have unfinished business with this dude too. Again, overall, this segment very much worked for me. I really did like it. And therefore, now it's just about establishing that 1% that it is not going, that it might become a triple threat match. Sorry about that. My nose got really itchy and I had to take care of that. But yeah, now it's all about them trying to establish that 1% that it become a triple threat match or Finn Balor could win. Now, as of right now, do I think either of that? No, nor should it. But again, the segment was good enough. I'm willing to go on the ride for them for these 2 weeks. Roman's not going to be back till March anyway. So what is Punk to do, right? And he knocked it out of the park so well last week that we can allow ourselves to do this. Now, as for the Elimination Chamber qualifying matches, I do scratch my head a little bit at Rhea Ripley pinning Lyra Valkyrie when Ivy Nile was right there. I thought Ivy Nile was there just to make up the numbers. Now, commentary throughout the whole entire match was very much trying to put Ivy over. So maybe we do have some plans for her. But god damn it, we got to use her because she comes and goes as she pleases. I'm actually kind of worried for her because, again, we don't use her as often, and I think she is a very reliable talent to have. Maybe WWE isn't it for her. It's the same with the Creed brothers. Not that I want anyone to lose their jobs, but maybe an AEW could be more suitable for them where, it is more focused on the actual in-ring performance as opposed to, promos and storytelling, right? Not that they can't tell stories and not that AEW doesn't tell stories. It's just, the two companies have different focus on priorities on what they're trying to do with their companies. Maybe that's a place where they could be better placed off to because, again, WWE doesn't seem to know how to use Ivy Nile. And, again, I think she is a very valuable talent to have. And Lyra, ever since post-SummerSlam, people are talking about it. I don't think Triple H has completely given up on her because she's still showcased. She's partnered with Bayley, that's someone that WWE really does trust a lot with. I do think they are going to be in the tag team title match at WrestleMania. And if you saw my prediction video, I have a ladder match being that match. So we do have that. I heard that Bayley had a promo afterwards to kind of hype up her Elimination Championship qualifier, which is Asuka, her, and then who was making up the numbers? Natty. Natty was in there. Natty's not going to get pinned. She's going to get attacked by Maxine Dupree. And Bayley might get pinned by Asuka, and Asuka will qualify for the Elimination Chamber. And then, therefore, they can just focus on the tag titles after that, after Rhea Ripley gets done with the Elimination Chamber, if she doesn't win. Now that Jordynne Grace is contending for the title on SmackDown, I think this is a way for her to not be in the Elimination Chamber, and therefore, who is left for Jade Cargill to face? I'm not really feeling Tiffany versus Jade round 4. I'm just not. And I think the next biggest match that you can do is Rhea Ripley versus Jade Cargill if Bianca Belair is not going to be ready in time to do it. I heard we still may have her in some capacity. But yeah, overall the match was fine. It was okay. Yeah, sure, there were some wibbly wobbly spots. I think they went for a Tower of Doom and Rhea fell a little too early. But besides that, there's really not much more to talk about it. But yeah, Rhea Ripley pinning Lyra Valkyria did raise my eyebrow quite a bit. As for the men's qualifier, I mean, LA Knight had to win. That was the other thing. I was looking at it. I was like, well, Penta's not going to get pinned. It's the same problem with SmackDown, right? Now, the only other thing was, so far, I've been right on who's winning and who's getting the pin. Right now, I'm still right on whoever's winning. I'm 3 out of 4 on who's getting pinned. I was like, well, Austin Theory is getting pinned. It doesn't matter who's going to do it. The Masked Man did it. So this goes out the window of, Austin Theory is in cahoots with Seth Rollins, because why would Seth Rollins attack him? I do think it is Seth Rollins under the hood. Well, not him right now, but when they're ready to reveal who the Masked Man is, it will be Seth Rollins, because they do think he is going to be ready to go. Honestly, now that Braun Breaker is out, I would have put it off. And I would have had Seth Rollins just miss Mania this year. I know Seth probably doesn't want that, but the more he spends off, the more that he gets healthier. And I don't think we need to rush Seth Rollins back by any means, because I think he's really pushing it with an early return if he is to do so, which is, kudos to him if he is able to pull it off. I just don't know who he's going to work with. I'm not really feeling him and Logan Paul again. Him and Bronson Reed, that could be interesting, but who knows what Bronson Reed and Logan Paul are doing, because now they're the ones beefing with Adam Pearce. Like, Logan Paul's like, and if we don't get out of the way, what are you going to do about it? And then here comes Bronson going, whoa, let him go because he's mine. Like, that's pretty interesting. We'll see how that's going to play out. But yeah, Masked Man comes in. Penta gets destroyed. I don't remember how he gets really out of the match completely, but then LA Knight revives after taking the tsunami, after the Vision gets involved. 1, 2, 3, he qualifies. Yeah, that's the right way to go for it, because God, if he would have lost, the outrage online would have been pretty funny. Not gonna lie, it would have been pretty funny, but also very warranted to do so. And then yeah, we talked about Balor and Punk. I'm not sure if there's anything else of note. The women's world title scene. Liv Morgan and Dominic come out. Stephanie comes out with the pyro. Really made it seem like Kane was making a return. Even Dominic flinching. I was like, oh my God, it's Kane. Oh no, it's just Stephanie. They have a nice back and forth. I think it's pretty wise to have Dominic involved with this storyline, because I'm pretty sure Liv is going to pick Stephanie. I heard Roxanne is sick, so she can't be fully involved, and surely her and Liv and Raquel are going to implode at some point. Same with Dominic and Finn. I think there's a way to go about it where Dominic tries to get involved, but Finn's like, no, please stay out, and then Dominic doesn't, and that will makes Finn Balor lose, and then that's how you get to that IC title match. I do think there's another IC title match that we are building up relatively soon too, or maybe the IC title match is a triple threat. We'll get into that in a little bit. But yeah, they're having a nice back and forth. Dominic is translating for Stephanie because Stephanie goes off on Liv in Spanish, and she's like, Dom, what did she say? He goes, I don't think I should translate that. But then he talks back to her, and she's like, yeah, you're right. That my man is telling you off. So what did you say, Dominic? And then Stephanie going, he said he's a bitch. And then, they're having a back and forth. And then Liv calls Stephanie a puta. And then, Stephanie freaking goes ape, which was super funny. When she was on the rope, she goes, puta, don't call me a puta. But she says in Spanish, I'm saying it's super white, but I am half Hispanic, so I'm making my half of my culture really mad at me. But she's like, don't call me that. Slaps Dominic Mysterio because he goes out on the way, and then she just leaves. It's clearly the program that we are going to build if we can keep this up. And I think if you keep Dominic inserted some way, shape, or form to be that layer. Not that Stephanie's English is bad, but clearly WWE doesn't fully trust her to do promos completely, because they don't have her do it that often. And if they do, it's very, very, very sparse. Though the way the meet in the middle, because I do think Stephanie can, is that you do this, and then maybe she can show that she does have the chops to do it when you have Dominic kind of there to help guide in some way, shape, or form. And it's also easy for Stephanie to get cheers because, Dominic, we just all love to boo him, right? So yeah, that was really this episode of Raw. I mean, yeah, there was the World Tag Team title match, but again, that was pretty telegraphed. The Usos were always going to win. No, I don't care that Jay made some mess ups. No, I don't care that they're still coming out the Jay Usos music. It's the music. Everyone's going to want to do the yeet. You may not want to because you can't afford the ticket. Neither can I. But man, let the people who can't afford have their fun. But yeah, the next week's Chamber matches, because, Gunther was talking about how I'm going to qualify for the Chamber. I think there's a chance he doesn't win that triple threat. It's him, Javon Evans, and Dominic. And my thing is, if Gunther's not going to win the Chamber, don't have him in the Chamber, because who pins him? Right? Like, we're pretty sure it's going to be Cody or Jacob who wins the Elimination Chamber. Whoever wins that Triple Threat Friday is winning the Elimination Chamber for sure. So, like, how do you get Gunther out of there, right? I guess Cody could just pin him. Says he has beaten Gunther, but Gunther is now on a whole other level. Are you going to have all 5 people jump on Gunther to make sure that he gets the 1, 2, 3? I don't know if I necessarily want to see that, especially where Gunther is at. So, you could have Javon pin Dominic, because we also made sure to have Dominic tell the Judgment Day, yeah, I got a Chamber qualifier, but I'm also being told I have to defend my IC title. Javon pins Dominic. He goes to the Chamber. Javon doesn't win the Chamber, of course. Then at WrestleMania, hey, I pinned you. 1, 2, 3. Why don't you put that Intercontinental Championship on the line? I think you could do Javon versus Dominic at WrestleMania. If are not going to do Dominic versus Finn, I think that's a good secondary plan to do. So yeah, the graphic says Gunther wins, but I really want to be surprised if Javon's the one to go over, because Gunther doesn't need to get pinned to lose, and nor should he ever be pinned for like a good year or so before Gunther gets pinned. So some intrigue when it comes to next week's men's Chamber qualifier on Monday Night Raw. Fridays is actually pretty good too. I really don't know how they're going to call it. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Monday Night Raw. Comment below, let me know your thoughts. Leave a like if you made it this far in the review. I do greatly appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button as it helps me grow into my YouTube career. And don't forget to squeeze the days, guys, because life is too short not to give you all. So squeeze every opportunity that you can. Until next time, I'll see you here at Lemon Studios.